Good evening. Ira Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening as we're now on Thursday, and this is the 23rd of May, 2024. Well, interesting day, and you got to remember, we have a long holiday weekend coming up. A lot of traders, not investors, close their books, go away for the weekend, come back. Some take off a whole week since they're not open on Monday. I've seen all the things, so have you. In addition, today was the day after. And what do I mean like that? It's not the movie that I'm talking about. It is more or less NVIDIA. And NVIDIA's earnings last night, as you know, were a barn burner. The market went up about $60 in the evening. When we came in, the markets were going to open higher because of that, and they most certainly did. And NVIDIA extended its gains as traders woke up and they went, well, look at this, I want to get in, and they're doing whatever they do with options, so on and so forth. And they drove it up near $100 a share. But the market acted weird on the rally. You saw that the SPY, the DIA, and IWM, they were reluctant to move with the market, and that was, in looking back, the first tip-off. I wish I could tell you that I had the crystal ball. What I did have a good crystal ball in is I told my clients, you got to have straight stops on the NASDAQ, and I told them, in my morning update, they got to be literally right under the after we opened. You don't want it after that 8:30 opening and you go past the first half hour to make a new lows on the day. And it took most of the day to just have that. And then you got the late day break. And when you look at the Dow, how much you were down 6 points on it here in the DIA, but you were down, 600 and some odd points on the cash market. And that's the largest one-day break since March. So what happened? What happened is the market decided, okay, what about yesterday? What do I mean? Well, yesterday was when we had the FOMC minutes come out. And if you read those minutes, you saw that you have a number of members that are saying, we've been restrictive. Where's the break on this last hurdle of inflation? It's too sticky. It's not breaking. What do we do? I'm making this up as I'm talking to you, but it's basically what was said. And we're hearing that from Fed speak, Fed speaks, Fed speak. You know that. I write about it if you get my full research reports. And I'm saying that there's a common theme here. They want to see the data prove that it's time for them to move on, and they're not getting the data. So what's going on here is higher for longer, and how long? The naysayers that say it's still July, they're dreaming, smoking something. It's not July. Could it be September? Yeah, if the market suddenly weakens. And we do see some of that. You are seeing the manufacturing numbers, Chicago, KC, Empire State down. But you're still seeing the service sector going up. Today we got the S&P service sector PMI. It jumped again. So if that's jumping again, it's making up in the service sector for what you're losing. And if you looked at the jobless numbers this morning, the claims came in, and again, they dropped by about 10,000. That isn't what the Fed wants to see. So you still have too strong of a labor market, but other fringe things are starting to happen. And that's got the Fed members talking. All right, that's where you're at on that part of the market. Now, as for news tomorrow, let's go to there maybe and get to this first. We have the durable goods data coming out in the morning at 7:30. They're expecting the market to 1 percentage point either way. University of Michigan final May consumer sentiment indices. They're looking for that to be a slight improvement from the prelim number. But remember, you got the long weekend coming up on Monday, because Monday's Memorial Day, so keep that in the back of your mind. I want to remind you that I've got a special report on copper out. Now, on copper being COPX, Freeport McMoran, and of course the futures cash. I wrap it all up. I discuss with you first the fundamentals. Where are we in copper supplies, demand? I review with you the fact that if central banks other than the U.S. begin their pattern of cutting rates, they do that to spur on economies. That can be Everything from doing infrastructure, new plants, AI centers, whatever is going to happen, but copper gets used up. China is trying to increase its GDP to 5.5%. India is running at 7%. These are copper users. And we're not getting enough copper out of the ground. And the way copper costs are via labor, electricity, and so on, it's very difficult to get new. You already see BHP is now doing a friendly talk finally with Anglo-American. Why? Because they can't grow the way they want organically. Now it's the M&A part, and they'll see what they can do. $49 billion was rejected, but if they talk, you don't know where it goes. My report covers the seasonality, where our proprietary work, the price count, thinks copper could go if it extends beyond the high that it just made. I was looking for a pullback in the report. That's all I'll share with you, and I'm getting that part of it. I then go into the weekly charts and the daily charts. So all of them are going to give you all that with the chart studies that I normally use. So take a look at it. How do you get there? You go to iraepstein.com and you go to the word research, and you'll see it listed there. Next, this is Memorial Day. I want to celebrate it with you. So for Memorial Day, we have our sale. 40% off any of my charts courses, including the new one, my full charting course that I just redid, hadn't redone it in almost a decade. It's now redone. That's included in this. Or 1 year research purchase. Now, if you go to the research and you go to the website, you'll see a button. The first one says, and we always have it default on generally monthly. Just move it, click the button, it'll move to the right for the yearly. You'll see these prices, and it's for the 1 year purchase subscription. I think you'll find that this is a good deal. It's a lot off, and it makes it very affordable. I mean, extremely. You're talking, in many cases now, the price, honestly, you go to your Starbucks, one Starbucks in a week pays for the videos for the week just by itself. So take a look at it. I can't do better than that. And it's probably the last time this year you will see 40 off, okay? You've got a few days to take care of that. All righty. So let's go now to the chart action and see what we have and what we don't have. As we look at the markets, mostly red. Now, one of the leaders on the decline was Boeing. I have been telling my subscribers, I like Boeing. Not to buy yet. I made that ultra clear to everybody. I said, but they're throwing the kitchen sink at this market. It will get to a number that makes no sense on the downside. And out of that, ash will come the phoenix. And that's where we want to be. So I'm looking very hard at that. Even AMC got hit today, almost 10% in price as you look at it. Uber down again to 63.60. Uber had its day in the sun, getting a bit hit. Amazon, now another new low, 180.08 in the marketplace. So you're looking at what's going there. Tesla down another $6 right now. Gold market, copper markets, they're all on the downside at this point. And do we have NVIDIA up here? I'm looking to see. I generally do. I don't know why I can't find it, but it'd be strange for me. Now, there it is. I know it, just look for green. Up $88.49. And that's a sell-off from 1063.20. So pretty big move. So as we get to Walmart, there's still a gap here, but I'm going to repeat what I said. For the individual that is thrifty, this is the granddaddy. This is the stock you want to own. This is the NVIDIA of that group, all right? It's the best one to own. And on pullbacks, we want to get interested in it. Do I think you have to do it right here? Frankly, I don't. The market, the 18-day average is here, but it's going to climb each day. I don't know if you're going to fill this gap or not. This could be a market that just leaves this whole base behind you. It's too hard to judge it right here. And if I come over and we add the momentum, if you embed, well, one of two things happens. If it embeds, you start buying the break much higher than I thought. And are we there? Both numbers over 80 today. Day before, which was Wednesday, both over 80, and the day before. So here's how that works. Now the pros are going to buy on a further break. They'll look at a certain number. I teach it in my full charting course. So this is your advantage to take care of that. They'll be out if the red line, in my opinion, closes under 79. And if that happens, the odds favor wherever, when and if that happens, price and the 18-day average will make a run at each other. When we look at MGM, I've told you I thought this market was in trouble, and we're finishing up tomorrow. You won't see this anymore, but bingo, I feel good about that. I thought it would stop at that key average. Tesla, just back and forth. It looks to me like you're building sideways action again. This is a boring chart, not worthy of, I think, an investment right here. We then look at Freeport. Now, I was looking, and I said to you yesterday, I think it's going to fight a battle around this 18-day average. I haven't changed my opinion. Now, if you take out, you could, the 50-60 level, you could open the door up for 48.36. That wouldn't bother me either. I think overall, on a longer-term basis, this is something that I am looking at very hard, because I do think copper is going to be in short supply, and I believe that the economies of the world are strong enough that they'll demand the copper. When we look at the gasoline fund, the Biden administration released 1 million barrels, not gallons, 1 million barrels of gasoline for consumption from Memorial Day through July 4th. They capped the market. It's really simple. It's not difficult. OPEC's coming. Do you think OPEC's going to increase production? OPEC's going to, if anything, enforce the numbers. They need to support the price. They can't put more oil on the market, so they have a problem. They're caught right here. In XLF, well, ended today. What do I mean by that? Let me show you. The market had an embedded reading, and what I tell you so often, if you lose it by the red line closing under 79, hands off. I don't care if it bounces back up. Now it's got to restructure the whole chart. That's the problem. So that stepped out of its trend. XLI stepped out of its uptrend today. No surprises on these. When you're with a trend and the market loses it, you're going to give back some money, and you want to walk away if that's your method of trading. Other markets will make you the money, and you play with them accordingly. RSPD, we've been talking for a while that the consumer could be in trouble. Well, you're all of a sudden down to the lower Bollinger Band. I mean, this market just in the past 48 hours has completely crashed in that market. Home builders, even with mortgage rates falling, and they are falling, this is the third week in a row of falling rates, they're not holding up right now. Okay, but you're oversold. I am expecting a battle at the 18-day average. I think these guys are smart. I think the demand is so strong. I'll let somebody else want to be the short player. Energy sector, I have not been friendly. We've talked about that. You've been void of a trend. You've had a higher high, lower low, caught in this whole area here, and you're oversold now. If it wants to extend the break, you can go to 89.40 to 88.26, but I don't think there's a massive play on the downside. That's about it. In the gold market, I'm looking for this market now to have reached what it had to do. Take a look. Yesterday, not today, yesterday, where did you close? You lost the bullish embedded reading. That means prices, on my theory, doesn't mean this always works, because it doesn't. Nothing I know works every single time but death and taxes. You'd have to get over that high before you make a run for the 18-day average. Whoops, excuse me. There it is. And that's what you did. So now I'm looking for the market to play around. You're not trending. You ended an uptrend. It's got to recycle itself now. That's the way to look at it. Silver lost its bullish trend. So unless it gets back over this number, the odds are it's going to lolly-dolly or break down as price on the 18-day average tries to rush up to this, and as the price itself tries to fall to the 18-day average for the two to come together. Copper's doing just what I wanted it to. We talked about it yesterday. I did in the morning videos. I think this market going to fight a battle right in here. I am not bearish on the copper, but the vertical rise needs a correction. You came out of this base here. You've come all the way up. None of the fundamentals have changed. If anything, they're going to get more bullish if central banks cut rates. If they cut rates, they spur on economic activity. What does that mean? Copper demand. Factories operate, refrigerators, cars, streets get done, lamp poles go up, whatever the heck you want to call it. TLT. When I look at this, you just lost your little bit of overbought and momentum turning down. You can get back to that 18-day average and fight some battles there. UUP, the dollar. Well, until today's low is taken out, the market is saying, as far as I can see on the chart now, if you understand outside days, and that's one of the charting courses you can get, open up the window for the 28.95 until today's low is taken out. FXE, the opposite. We're now looking, and by the way, it's hit its objective. The first objective is the 100-day average, and you broke down today. Maybe you go to 99.64. You lost the bullishness in the market. In order to turn bearish, you got to close under that 18-week average. You might do it on a weekly basis. That would also add something, and we'll talk about that over the weekend to my subscribers on the weekly charts. We'll get into that for it. So again, remember, the Memorial Day sale, and by moving your cursor up here, you go to the website, you can look at the copper report, which will go off right after Sunday. So I wish I could tell you what time Monday, but it's going to be gone on you. So take a look at that report. If you're interested in copper, COPX, FCX, which is Freeport, I'm Ira Epstein. I'll see you in the morning.